All right, we got an awesome match. We got Claret, Teddy, Master Bill, and Grumpy versus Pro Randy, Pro Daywalker, Pro Zealand, and Pro Exist.
And in the process of doing that, accidentally gets his commander stuck in the pit inside the dragon's teeth and loses his commander like that. So, like you said, that can be really funny. These lava pits can form on the map when it gets deformed, and then that can definitely change the pathing. You definitely have to be careful. So that is pretty.
Absolutely. Right, this match is getting kicked off. Let's introduce the players. Tarnished, are we looking at the map?
Oh yes, we are in, and we are.
Well, one thing I think is interesting is you see everybody has spawned. Nobody has gone back here or back here, so I just think that's very interesting.
And watching the action.
Excellent. Wingfly, do you want to introduce the hot team?
Yeah, let's go ahead and introduce Team Pro Bar. We have here in orange, Zelen, or going bots first. Here in red, we have Randy, also going bots first. Daywalker in yellow, going bots first. And finally, we have Pink Exist as ARM. I think the only ARM player on the Eastern team going bots first. Go ahead and introduce our Cool Colors team.
Thank you very much. From Time Zone Nightmare on the respective players, it's Master Bell in purple on the north side. To his south, we have Teddy in green, and then we've got Cyret in blue, and at the south side we've got Grumpy. And they have all opened bots so far. I think only Master Bell is Armada, the rest are core.
Yeah. And that's a little, I find that a little surprising. Well, I guess not. I guess as long as you have one player, but you definitely want both. You definitely want at least one player on your team to be ARM so that you can have both forms of technology. There are things that ARM gets that core does not, and vice versa. So you definitely want to have a mix on your team. But to exist with this one tick being very annoying, moving through here, taking out a mechs, and just kind of being a nuisance in general.
I know it's only one mech's metal extractor, but that is 4.9 worth, I think. And it's only one, so that's a major bit of damage. It's going to really slow him down if he doesn't get it built back up quickly.
Yeah. And already, like I was saying, guys, from the beginning, you can see that the player bases, if you look at the east and west, they kind of conglomerate around these geos. The players just can't help themselves but build their base like really close to the geos, and so again, when these go up, inevitably as they will, it causes a lot of collateral damage. But here in the south, Grumpy and Exist moving forward to try to take this territory, try to get a hold of the center, the south center of the map. And I never did ask, who do you predict? Who do you think is going to win this? Who do you give the edge to here?
Well, Time Zone Nightmare definitely have the advantage. Again, back to the stats. Their players have higher ratings.
Yeah.
It helps settle it, but let's not count out Pro Bar. They have their average rating is 35. Time Zone Nightmare is 45, just to give you a flavour. But let's not rule them out. Pro Bar are a very strong team, and their team play has been really good so far. It's really going to come down to...
And like I said, Pro Randy, like I said, I don't know, I'm total noob to this game, but I do know at some point in the recent history, he was one of the top players as well in this game, so not a slouch.
As we were talking about, the bombing. Now, I think there'll be some transition to air, and this map is very wide. as we were saying, this is a typical 8v8 map. They're not going to be able to control the skies across the whole front effectively. So it's whoever can really get the bombers through first to that back line and do some damage is probably going to be the deciding factor on this one.
Yeah. No, I'm going to trust you guys. I'm going to say the team with the higher open skill rating, going to be an open skill elitist here. I'm going to TZN is going to win. But guys, it really does come down to team play. It really does come down to who can skin the cat just a little bit better. But speaking of team play, here in the South we have two commanders from each side doing a lot of work to try to build up what they need to break through. And Pink with some nice Rocketeers already. But Randy's got to be careful in the north as Thugs pressuring his commander. Go ahead.
I don't think anyone said anything, Fly.
Oh yeah, I thought you were about to say something. But here in the South, Grumpy putting up a warden. What do you think about this? What do you think about putting up a warden right here? This early on in the game, it's an interesting defense.
It's one of those options. It's got very long range compared to other defenses. So if you can get it up without the other player knowing, or you have advantage in number of units, it can really help you just lock down that area. Often see players in sort of public games build these in the wrong situations. They try and rush them but don't have the eco to get them up quickly, and in the meantime, the opportunity cost of building that is nearly 500 metal. You could have a couple of really good units out, and instead you've got something static that's not even ready yet. So pro player Grumpy knows when to do this, and he's got some units in front.
Something we missed here. There's two dead commanders right here. I'm not sure whose commanders they are. Maybe one of them is Master Bells, and the other one is maybe Zelin. But yeah, whoever can claim that 4,000 metal before the lava gets it, here's one commander, and that's another one. So let's see what happens.
A bit to screen. I think he is likely, if they do push quite far forward, he might even reclaim it. It's one of those things that you don't want to just sat there doing nothing.
We got another commander.
Randy in a little bit of trouble here as his commander almost gets taken out. And here in the north, excuse us guys, 3 commanders have gone down already. Teddy's commander goes down, and we have orange and purple take each other out. And so a lot of carnage happening in the north, and these teams will be vying for these juicy metal corpses. Whichever team can get these corpses is certainly going to have a nice economic lead over their opponents. But as you were saying earlier, the Western team has built 2 wardens here at the front line, and those will give them some defense. But the problem is that the shell shocker, the Wolverine, the mobile artillery will outrange those, and that will be perhaps a problem for Grumpy and cyret here in the south.
Yeah, absolutely. You need units to be pushing ahead of these wardens on their own. Range of about 600 versus those artillery of about 700. So they can't just sit there if you've got artillery fighting on your doorstep.
And Daywalker moving forward, he's got to be careful.
Quickly look at blue cyret moving in with a huge number of bombers through the middle, over the caldera, into the back line, hitting Randy's base. That's the bot lab nearly destroyed, not quite did it. He didn't have the numbers. That's 8 bombers, wasn't quite enough. I think you can do it with 8 just about, but I think he just slightly mistargeted there. Now hitting Zelin's base.
And he's still with the bot lab, still not quite getting it.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a return fight, flyover for this one. Now he says goodnight to that bot lab, but in the meantime, south side, we've got to push Daywalker, getting his units into behind the commander's wreckage, which just went down. That lava is something to watch for. We have seen some units on the north side actually get killed by the lava. But it's looking open. cyret coming forward with his commander. They've only got 2 commanders left. He knows he needs to stop this push though, so he's pushing him forward regardless. And Daywalker's coming out of range, and the problem is he's got lashers, which have the range to destroy the commander outside of the blast radius. So that's another commander down. This is looking pretty dangerous now.
Yeah, Grumpy is the last commander, it seems, on the Western team, and he's going to retreat. His team probably telling him to get out, because now they know he is the only commander left. If they take out Teal's commander, they have won the game. And perhaps in a bit of an upset, the Eastern team is looking dominant here. It's still somewhat close, but they have broken through the South for sure. Now picking up Grumpy's commander in a transport and flying him out of danger. But the problem is that
they said the West team the East team is dominant, but this player's base just got completely destroyed, and Randy's base got heavily punished as well by those bombers. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess you're right. You see how far yellow has pushed up, and also pink as well.
there's just so much metal to reclaim now. Here in the South, for the Eastern team, they're going to get all of these corpses, and it's just going to propel them forward even further. And here in the North, they're pushing through as well. So this is looking pretty.
But I mean, if you look at the score right now, it's 118 metal to it was 116 a second ago, so they were basically even. But yeah, 2 commanders there, 1 commander there, 1 commander over here somewhere. If the Eastern team gets those 4 commanders, it's not going to be looking good.
Bad. Even with that nice bombing run, I still think the Eastern team is in a very dominant position.
Yeah, it's looking like they've established quite a lot. Another unusual decision here is Pro Randy building an agitator up on the north side, the red player. It's going to have the range to do a lot of damage to some of the defending units from Teddy, but it's unusual to invest that much metal in just that static defense.
Yeah,
Still wide open.
And he's also kind of splitting his build power between that and the T2 bot lab, so he's a bit indecisive about what he wants to do. Is he trying to tech up, or is he trying to break this defense? And Teddy is now on T2, and you have to imagine we'll start building Sheldons right away to start sieging Randy's base. Yeah, he is already working on that Sheldon, so...
Still a bit of a push on the south side coming through.
Yeah.
Exist is pushed through with his units. He's got a few power ladders of drones that are there, enough to slow down and help take out some of those units. Now looking for a push on the north side. Pro Randy's still got enough units to keep the pressure up, but yeah, like you say, going for T2 and that medium plasma battery at the same time has really slowed him down.
Yeah, it's a bit indecisive. I don't agree with it. I mean, because now this agitator is probably not going to live that long. These Sheldons can DPS it down very quickly. And
I just want to say one thing. The static defenses, they're just commenting that yeah, they're very good. I mean, they're but they're 400 or 500 metal, and they're not mobile. So let's say one player invests in a bunch of units, 500 metal worth of units, versus another player who just invests 500 metal into a static defense. Well, the mobile units can just go around the static defense, or if they had mentioned before, if they build artillery that outranges that mobile defense, that defense is basically useless. So the moral of the story, I think, is that it's better to have more units than static defenses in most situations.
The truth is the agitator's DPS really isn't that high, and it will go down. And so now